All right, so this is part 2 of our formula notes. So we're going to be talking about surface area as the next formula that we will be using, surface area of a rectangular prism and surface area of a cylinder. So volume we were discussing was the inside of an object. Surface area is the outside of a 3D object. So again, think a box or a water bottle, but like the outside, the amount of plastic it takes to make that water bottle, or the amount of cardboard it takes to make that rectangular prism. So surface area is the sum of the areas on the surface of a container. Should kind of make sense. The figures are always 3D and the units are squared. So some examples of that would be wrapping paper. If you see the word cover, that would be a really good one. Or like the amount of metal to make a can of soup or something like that. Okay, so you see your formula for surface area of a rectangular prism right here. It's really, really long, so it's not as simple as the volume formula. Okay, so I'm actually going to type some of this in so that it's easier for us to see. Oops. So our volume formula is 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. Okay. Let's see, what would, we could go ahead and label our length, our width, and our height on the side. So I would say our 8 is the height, the length is 3, and the width is 5. Okay. So then we're going to just continue with our formula. So volume equals, and we'll do 2 times our length times our width, okay, plus, it's a little smaller, 2 times our length, which is 3, times our height, which is 8, plus 2 times our width, which is 5, and our height, which is 8. Okay, so it's quite lengthy. You have to be very precise and clear with your handwriting, and that's why I wanted to type it in, because I know sometimes it's hard for you guys to see my text up here with the pen. Okay, so my biggest thing after you substituted each of the numbers for length, width, width, height, is to make sure you don't just put that whole long thing into the calculator. You want to chunk it out. So like 2 times 3 times 5, we're going to do that. And 2 times 3 times 8, and 2 times 7 times 8 before we add anything. So 2 times 3 times 5, we have 15 times 2, which would be 30, plus 2 times 3 times 8 would be 48, plus 2 times 5 times 8 would be 80. So you have these 3 different products of each section of that formula, and then you're going to add them all together. So 30 plus 48 plus 80 would be 158 inches. And we're going to square it because it's area, not volume. We're talking about the surfaces. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too crazy. Let's take a look at number 4. Okay, there are quite a few different numbers on here, but we'll use each one once. We'll say that the width is 5, the length is 8, and the height is 3. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing like I did for the last one. Oops. Okay, so we're going to start with our formula first. We've got volume equals 2 length width plus 2 length height plus 2 width height. Okay, so that would be volume equals 2 times the length, which we said was 8, times the width, which we said was 5, plus 2 times the length, which is 8, and the height, which is 12. Oops, 3. Plus, I'm going to go into the picture here, 2 times the width, which is 5, and the height, which is 3. Okay. There we go. All right, so if we multiply each one of those out, we've got volume equals 2 times 8 times 5, 2 times 8 times 3, and 2 times 5 times 3. So 2 times 8 times 5. Go ahead and multiply that out, see what you get. You should get 80 plus 48 plus 30. And if you look at the top one, it should be the same exact number because they were the same numbers. Just look a little different. All right, go ahead and pause the video and you can do 5 and 6 on your own. Again, you are pausing the video to do 5 and 6. When you finish, raise your hand and I'll come and check. Okay, so at this point you should have done 5 and 6 on your own, and we're going to do surface area of a cylinder. So here is our formula: 2 times pi times radius squared plus 2 times pi times radius times height. So this is my height, and this is my radius. Again, radius is halfway to the other side, so remember the radius is half of the diameter. If they give you diameter, you do need to cut it in half. All right, so surface area of a cylinder. Right here we have a net for a cylinder. If I cut a can open, it would look like that. So you have surface area equals. Ooh, I just realized that all of my ones at the top I was using V. That is my fault. Hopefully you realize that. This should say surface area and surface area. Wow, I'm gonna switch. Okay. Going back. Surface area equals, we've got 2 times pi times radius squared plus 2 times pi times radius times height. Okay? 2 times 3.14 times my radius squared. My diameter is 6, so that means my radius is half of that. So if I cut 6 in half, I'm going to get 3. So 3 squared plus 2 times pi, or 3.14, where is that? Times radius, which is 3, times 10, which is the height. Okay, again, you shouldn't really put all of that in your calculator. We're going to do 2 times 3.14 times 9 plus 2 times 3.14 times, I'm going to do 3 times 10, which is 30. So I have one less number. Okay, so then I'm going to multiply all of this out and all of this out. Go ahead and take a second to do 2 times 3.14 times 9. You should get 56.52 plus 2 times 3.14 times 30. See what you get there? On that one, you should get 244.92. Nope, that is not what you get. 188.4. When I add them all together, I get, there's my 244.92 centimeters squared. And that's my surface area. Okay? All right, and on the last one, that cylinder again is flipped over. We're still looking for surface area of the cylinder. So there's my formula. My radius is 6 and my height is 10. Plug in the numbers. 2 times 3.14 times 6 squared plus 2 times 3.14 times 6 times 10. Okay, again, a good idea to simplify things first. So I've got 2 times 3.14 times 36. 6 squared is 36. Plus 2 times 3.14 times 6 times 10, which is 60. Just one less number that you have to enter in the calculator. Okay? Find the product of each and then add them together. Take a minute to multiply that out on your calculator to see what you get. So here, to double check, you should get 226.08 plus 376.8. We add them together, and we should get 602.88. And that's our surface area of that cylinder. So that's how much it would take to make a can if its height was 10 and its radius was 6. Okay, final steps would be to do number 9 and 10, then raise your hand to get checked. Great work.